Hello, welcome back to Astrology Study Group. I'm going to call this Eclipses Part 2 because I wanted to give you a little bit more on just the eclipses themselves in, aspecting the planets and the parts of the chart. So when you have your chart, I'm just going to have this up here for you to look at so you can see the degrees this year and next year because they have it. This site has a few of them here. But anyway, if you have eclipses falling in your first or second, first or seventh, because you'll have that. They always they always have that opposite effect, where it's in one house and then it still resonates to the other. So if it's your first seventh, that's like your self and your identity through relationship with others. So yourself gets stirred up and then how it reflects or works with others, and depending on which one is stimulated is which way it starts. Does it start with the relationship that is overstimulated and you're not putting too much attention on yourself, or is yourself eclipsed and your relationship not? So how is that axis playing out for you? And how about the 6th and the 12th? We're just going to go that way. We can go backwards on this. So the 6th and 12th houses are kind of Neptunian, because you got the 12th. It's sort of Neptunian Virgo, where your first one is your Aries Libra. So you're um you got that Mercurial and then that Neptunian kind of aspect there. So it's basically honoring your needs for solitude or contemplation or the behind the scenes, while taking care of the tasks in your mundane world. Your sixth house, your daily activities, your tasks, versus your space where you can retreat and hide away. That is being resonated, those areas. Okay, the 5th and 11th would be where you find yourself with groups, and then sharing what you really want to share, with your friends or associates, and bringing up your creativity. So is it centered on your creativity, your children, your creations, or is it focused on the group? Is it like your time to shine, that sort of Leo self, or is it the hive mind, the group? All right, our 4th and 10th axis is, the 10th house would be like that Capricorn, the 4th house would be like the moon. So we have that outer aspect, how people see you in the world, and then how you see your home and family, your places of retreat or your lineage. Is that out of balance? Are you sacrificing one for the other? Um, that those are the issues, that are resonated with our 4th and 10th axis. Our 3rd and ninth is, you have, again, your 3rd house is like mercurial with the Gemini influence, and then your ninth has that, Sagittarius or Jupiterian feel. So your 3rd house is your communications, your short trips, your siblings, your neighborhood, how you communicate, all those types of things. And then your higher learning, your higher education, your travel, your foreign ideas, your moving out, your expansiveness. So is one, again, is one at the expense of the other? Are you not following your dream because you have to deal with siblings? Are you, going off too much in your own world and then you're forgetting about your siblings, or your communications? That access is stimulated both ways that way. And then bringing back to the 7th, or coming back to the 2nd and the 8th, you have your second is your Taurus house, or it's earthy. And then, you have your Scorpio, your 8th house. So it's questions of, who you are. I mean, what's your value? What is important in your life? What do you value? What are your things that make you safe and secure, as opposed to, other people's money, the way the money's rolled around, death, taxes, those issues. Usually this when this access is stimulated, we've got a financial discomfort because money rules society, and you got a second house thing, and this 8th house is like other people's money. Are they controlling your money? Do you have something going on, with how other people handle your money, or how you have to maybe handle other people's money? So let's look at, keep that house in mind. All right, moving on. The If you have an eclipse aspecting, say, your natal sun. Now, before I get into just the planets, it kind of depends on the planets, where they are, of course, in your chart, and the aspect itself. Conjunctions could be they could be good or bad. They're always intense. Let's just put it that way. But a conjunction, a Venus conjunction on your sun is different than a Pluto conjunction on your sun. So let's just put it that way. So it's just the nature of the animal there, how close you want it next to you. So conjunctions would could go either way. Squares are always tough. They're always frustrating. They're always hard. Oppositions, it sort of depends on if something is pulling you or if you need to see from another point of view. How evolved are you in seeing the opposite side? In conjuncts always suck. That's just there's nothing else. It's just annoying, it's frustrating, it's out of phase. You can't really make much sense of it. The best thing you can do is just try to find some kind of common ground. Good luck. So anyway, those are just keep those in mind when you actually have the aspect. But I'm just going to give you a little bit about each going through the what's happened to the planets when they're aspected by the eclipse. So eclipse aspecting natal sun, it's like you're all of a sudden thrown out into the star role, and you got to either fight for it or reclaim your power. A lot of times there's authority figures that you have to confront, parents, bosses, establishment, or something that you've got to overthrow for you to live your authentic life. That's your sun, because that's your personality, your core. So that's being threatened or stirred up somehow. All right, eclipses to the natal moon. That's like it could be leaving you exposed, basically. That's where you want security. You want pantry of food, and you want familiar people, and you want comfortable surroundings. And when that you want an inner uh, satiety. And when your natal moon is eclipsed, or going through some of those changes, that could shake you to your core. It could shake your beliefs. It could shake your emotions, you know, um, and be very disturbing. So that one is tender. I'll put it that way. Eclipses aspecting Mercury. Mercury's like how you define yourself. Yourself, your rank in your family. The pecking order you're at, and it's how you communicate. And if that's challenged, challenged, how you might have to rewrite, your story of your life on different ways, because that's communicating you to you. Venus is about your value again, and eclipses to Venus can remind us that the world does not always give us, the treatment that we want, whether kind or cruel, or that we think we deserve. This awareness comes usually through financial challenges, Venus values, or something that's dear to us gets eclipsed, or changed on some level. Or it could be like about your attractiveness or something Venusian. Again, it depends on the aspect and where it is, but that's something, that area, your values, yourself, your money, that is being changed, resonated. Mars, eclipses to Mars, it's like your watchdog or your inner guard dog is stirred up, and it could be very challenging. It could be energy sapping. It just might sap that energy right out, or it might stir it up in a negative way. So that energy could be. I find it's oftentimes debilitating. But if it's, say, Mars to your sun, conjuncting your sun, that's different. That's going to be very injuvenating, or a lot of energy. So it's really energy, how that is. Your aggressive tendencies, are they being are they like the bear being poked, or are they being subdued? Eclipses, mass aspecting Jupiter, is when your life jumps tracks and start moving in a different direction. It's Jupiter's about expanding, so something's big change. Eclipses aspecting Saturn is where you feel like worn out, discouraged. You get constraints, restricted, um, crystallized challenges you got to put in order. All the Saturn stuff. Eclipses aspecting Neptune is where, you have to examine your blind spots. Where have you put your it's like your blind faith in something. Where have you not questioned something that you should have? It's like, now you're seeing that he's been doing that? What? Everybody knows it be you. Where have you been? The Neptunian stuff, that's the stuff that comes out. He wasn't who I thought he was. Yep. That's the Neptune stuff. And then lastly, the planets Pluto, anything with involving Pluto is definitely going to reveal a dark side, a dark spot, a shadow, the ink stain on the carpet. That's going to bring up those depths and bring those forward to look at, to deal with, to sort out, to smack you in the face. um, Eclipses aspecting the nodes, that's where we're going and where we're coming from. So it may, depending on the aspect, you might have to examine, is this really what I want to do, where I want to be going, in this direction over here? I know I was coming from here, and you got to be careful on the south, the south node, um, going back to just familiar habits and patterns, not using the force of change to move forward. If you distill back um, into areas that you really need to confront, that's the negative side of that. You have to, the south node is like, you have to give up things, you have to sacrifice or get rid of those worn out beliefs or things that aren't working for you, or else they'll be taken through different astrological means. So when you're on your nodes, it's good to look at that. It's like, really examine um, the depths of yourself. Where do I really want to be going? And what don't I need anymore? What can I sacrifice? How can I lighten my load? It's usually, the south node is more of a spiritual bent. How can I get rid of a bunch of stuff that's distracting me from keeping me moving forward toward what I want? All right. And eclipses aspecting descendant, your rising sign is your personality, who you are and how you are. It could be, you could feel like you want to reinvent yourself. You want to pay attention to your appearance. You have a whole new you, a makeover, a way of bringing yourself out into the world. Um, Bringing up just that whole new side of you, that, your appearance or your home or how people, look at you. You might have a new not only a makeover, but just maybe a new way of being. You finally confront some of that crap within yourself and bring out the better you. That's sort of when that's coming over the ascendant. And then when it goes over the midheaven, that's where people are seeing you in the world. There's where it's bringing, um you know it's pursuing it's helping you to pursue your calling, or to move to a place that reflects your truer self. All right, those are the big areas of where they are in your chart, and how you just did a little bit of heads up on how to interpret them in your chart, the houses and the planets. So I hope that helps, and we'll talk more next time. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.